Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would share with you something that has really helped me that I learned in counseling and therapy. It's probably one of the best pieces of advice I've been given in therapy because I remembered it the most. And even this week, it was something that helped me. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. It's for all of us who struggle with perfectionism or fear of trying new things and failing. That's what this relates to. But before I get into that, if you're new on my channel or maybe you haven't seen other videos I made about anxiety, I would just wanted to share a little bit about my struggle with mental health. I've dealt with anxiety probably for 12 years now. But even as a kid, I was more of a worrisome child. So I think part of my struggle currently with anxiety, some of it may be situationally, just being a single parent. I'm a single parent and there's a lot on my plate. But I think the biggest part is, part of just this, sometimes we have struggles we're born with, hereditary and things like that. But also just I struggle with trusting God. I ruminate about negative thoughts. I can be really hard on myself about things. I can be fearful about the unknowns of things. And so that's kind of a big part of where my anxiety stems from. Even this week, I was realizing a lot of my anxiety is from me wanting to be in control of things and not being able to just let go and trust God about things instead of worrying about worst case scenarios. So I've been on a mental health journey for quite a number of years. I think for a while I didn't realize okay, there's things I can do that I really need to work on this. And so I'm definitely in the thick of this journey. I'm not, by no means someone who's overcome my anxiety. It's a daily battle. But I would love to share more mental health videos with you if that's something you guys would be interested in. So let me know in the comments if you would like me to share more about that. Let's get to that piece of advice I was given years ago in counseling that has stuck with me. So I was talking to my counselor at the time about how I think I was talking to him about my desire to maybe be a hairstylist because I have my cosmetology license. I've never worked in a salon. There's kind of a backstory with that, just the timing. I got married right after I got my license, and then I had Emma, my daughter, a year after I got married. So a lot of details. But anyways, how I said one reason why I struggled with wanting to do hair was the fact that I just felt like I wasn't good enough, and that I just needed to learn more and things like that. And he said something to me that stuck with me. And he said, well, is it good enough? And I had never thought about my struggle with perfectionism or desire to control and to have things all figured out and, be the best at something to coming down to this concept of good enough. Well, is it good enough? And so that concept of, well, is it good enough, has really stuck with me. And it's something that we can apply to wanting to try new things that we're not good at, my YouTube channel. I mean, so many times I make content and I'm it's not perfect. Great. I messed up on this, or this wasn't that great, but I'm still going to put it out there. And I don't always think about is it good enough, but that's what I'm doing. I'm saying, well, it's good enough. I'm just going to put it out there. And, also recently what happened to me this week, so you can apply it to situational things like wanting to try new things, but you can also apply it to, well, this is how I applied it to things that we have in our life. So I really wanted, this sounds silly, but I wanted some new pajamas, nice matching pajama sets, because I'm always wearing sweats with a mismatching shirt and feeling kind of junky, not put together well, which I know it doesn't matter that much for pajamas, but it was just something I wanted to start having cute matching pajamas. Well, I went thrifting this last week and I did pray. I was like, God, please help us have a good thrifting trip. And one thing I wanted to look for was pajamas. I was like, maybe I could find some pajamas. And so I found a few different pairs of pajamas, but I had that thought in my mind, is it good enough? Because these pajamas were not what I had idealized in my mind. I was thinking a cute, solid, that traditional pajama style, the solid with the button up shirt that has the white I don't know, not threading, but like the white ribboning around the edges, you know, like a cute black pair or cute like green pair, very like classy and simple. That's not what I found at the thrift store, but I did find matching sets, and I wish I could show them to you now, but I think they're in the washer or the dryer currently. I found 3 matching sets where they have prints on them, different little prints, and they have been worn, but they're still cute and they're really comfy. And so I bought those, and guess how much I spent? I spent, let's see, $6 on 3 pairs of pajamas. And that was much more in my budget than spending $40 or $30 on 1 set of pajamas. And so when I came home and I was thinking about those pajamas, that thought came into my mind. I was like, okay, these aren't exactly what I wanted, but they are good enough. Like, and I can be thankful for these pajamas because they're good enough for me. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys, because so often we get caught up in our idealistic goals for things, whether, like I said, it's us trying something new or something that we want in our life. Like we could apply that to like, oh, you know, our house, like, I wish it had this or that in my home, and maybe I need to look for a new home or whatever. And then all we really need to do is flip that script and say, but this is good enough. And like, look at the things that I can be grateful and thankful for. And it can also be applied to us if we're really afraid of trying new things and doing things differently. We can become so paralyzed of this fear of failure, like, I'm not going to be successful at this, so why even try? And sometimes it's not just about being successful. Like, what if you want to try something and you're never going to be great at it, but it's going to be something that brings you joy in your life? And what's holding you back is those perfectionistic thoughts. Or what if you do get really good at something, and what's holding you back is you're afraid of failing, but failure is a part of the process to getting good at something. I think about when I started YouTube years ago. You could scroll back and look at my old videos. Like, I have improved over time. Am I a perfectionist? Do I have these amazingly perfect videos with the best, like, you know, scripts and titles and thumbnails, and like I'm still using my phone as my camera? Like, no, it's not perfect, but it's good enough, and it's something that gives me joy. And I may never have like this amazing channel, but I'm enjoying it. And if I get caught up too much and like, well, these are the things that I'm not doing well enough and poor me, then I'm not going to enjoy the journey. And I think about YouTube, and actually YouTube is probably one of the first things that I've really stuck it out like over the years, with continuing to like fail and continuing to have like struggles. Like, I remember when I was a young girl and my mom signed me up for dance lessons, which seems like something I would like to do because I always loved music and I was not into sports or athletic things at all. But I go to this dance class. It was at like our local athletic club. And I remember looking at the other girls. They must have been in dance for quite a while before me, and they could do, was it cartwheels? I don't remember, something. And I remember this feeling of inadequacy, like, well, I can't do those things. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I think I went to only 2 or 3 maybe lessons, and I quit it because that's what I thought. I was like, well, I can't do those things, and I felt inadequate. Well, what if I had stuck that out and I, you know, journeyed through those inadequate phase? Like, what if I had improved? But here I am, still someone who doesn't really know how to dance at all. Actually, why do I say doesn't really know? I don't know how to dance at all. And I wish that I had stuck it out. I wish I had had that bravery. And that's part of the problem with perfectionism, is sometimes we think perfectionism, we can tell ourselves in our mind, well, I just have a high standard for myself. I just, you know, want things to be just so. But also, could it be a little bit of pride? Like, we're embarrassed of failing. We're embarrassed of failing in front of other people, not being great at something, needing help with doing something. I know for sure for me, pride, it has a lot to do with my feelings of not wanting to fail. And also, I want to share this too, is just because maybe we don't want to try something new doesn't mean that we're like, oh, afraid of failing. Sometimes we just aren't something is not worth the effort for us to try because we're not really interested in it. What I mean by that is sometimes we can feel pressured from other people, like, don't you want to try this? Don't you want to try that? That's how I felt when I was a teenager when it came to sports, like playing athletic games with my group of friends. Like, people would be like, are you sure you don't want to try it? I'd be like, no, really, like, I don't want to try it because I don't really like sports. I'd rather sit and watch than be involved. And I think those things are okay. Like, we have to know who we are and what we're willing to put an effort into trying. And another thing is, like, I got invited, I remember a while back, to this like ropes course thing. And I don't really like heights. Is that something that I'm like I need to overcome? Maybe, I don't know. But also it's like not something I'm totally interested in taking the time to do. So I think it's good to determine whether it's something like, if what's holding us back, like we really want to do something, but we're afraid of failing, that's what we need to key into. But if it's something that we're like, I know I'm not going to be good at this and I don't really want to try learning because I'm just not really interested, like those things I think are okay. Though I know for myself personally, I do need to continue to work at being willing to try different things and being willing to look like a fool sometimes. Some of us are easier at that. Like those of us who are really good at, we have a good sense of humor and we can like kind of make fun of ourselves. Those of us that are that way, I'm not as good at that as I would like to be, can be easier at trying new things. They can laugh things off. Some of us who are more serious like me have a harder time putting ourselves out there and looking like a fool and being able to laugh it off. Laughter goes a long way, doesn't it, when we're trying something new? But anyways, I want to know if this is something you struggle with in your life. Are you a perfectionist? Do you have a hard time trying new things and failing? Is there something in your life that you put yourself out there and you tried and you failed, but you love it and you're so glad you took the time to put the effort into trying? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear. And oh, my timer's going off, which means I gotta check my laundry. Alexa, stop. Well, signing off for this video. I'll see you guys in next week's video. Okay, bye.